Rajan Mittal now joining us. Rajan, your broad take on the budget. What do you think are the highlights?
Hi, Vikram. Well, I have to say it's a balanced budget from a corporate point of view. It's a budget which has vision, a roadmap has been laid out, taxation has been discussed, especially on the corporate taxes. The finance minister has spoken about a 4-year roadmap, making things easier, making things simpler, ease of business, as they have promised to put a committee. We hope that it will have a quick turnaround because it's very important for the investors' confidence. Of course, he's also spoken about infrastructure spending, keeping the fiscal deficit roadmap slightly for 3 years that he has already projected. But I hope that that investment that has been projected goes into the infrastructure, because that would be required if Make in India has to be successful. So broader, Vikram, view is that it's a budget with a roadmap, it's a budget which has a vision, it is a budget which carries social sector as well, along with the corporate world, making sure that the leakages, especially the leakages in the social sector side, are well plugged, as they've spoken about the banking system and as they've spoken about Aadhaar. So, we are hoping that all of this marries into a going forward basis, ease to do business in India.
Am I sensing a but there somewhere? Are there things that you feel perhaps could have been done differently or could have been done better, or something which you would have liked to see him add?
Clearly there was hope that at least the manufacturing boost, a MAT would be probably, even in the industrial zones, industrial corridors, would be looked into it. Some kind of corporate tax could have even this year moved little in a direction, but I wouldn't say that the roadmap which has been set, it disappoints us. Wealth tax has been taken off, predictability has been brought in. Of course, what we are seeing is the service tax has moved up, so has little bit excise, which is really corollary to where the GST will be finally moving. So one will really have to see when the GST comes into play, how the rollout of GST, and especially the kind of percentage that will be applied upon, how it affects over the years. So yes, there is always something that could have been brought on the table, but keeping where the requirements are, keeping where the Indian economy is, and giving it growth and boost, I would say is a balanced budget and a budget with hope and vision.
Right. Of course, this time the expectations were more, this being the first full budget, if you like, of the Modi government and Arun Jaitley. People were really looking for a signal that, yes, this government means business. It's going to be India is going to be a much easier place to do business in. It's going to be a paradigm shift in many ways, and therefore a signaling of a lot of reform in that particular direction. To that point, keeping those expectations in mind, was enough done in your view?
I think so, Vikram. What do the investors really look, both domestic as well as people who come from outside to invest? The ease of business, the direction, the vision. When the finance minister says that, look, don't make a corporate or a growth or profitability as bad words. They have to marry with the social society. So I don't think this is either or. And I think this is what we look for from an investor's point of view, how we're going to do. Sure enough, some of the sectors which need probably more investments, already the bills are in the parliament. Insurance is one. I would say to give boost to manufacturing, even defense sector being moved away from 49% upwards would not be a bad thing to do. Of course, lastly has been on the retail sector. While the e-commerce is taking great shape, something could have been spoken about with inflation where it is, and also to give manufacturing, especially the SME and MSME growth areas. I think retail has to be brought on the center stage. So, well, that's something we hope that over a period of time would be worked in.
One thing, Rajan, last question, that many people sometimes get concerned about government spending, and there's always this talk about, oh, how much spending is the government doing? Now, spending by itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Spending on infrastructure is often seen as a good. But even when it comes on spending money in subsidies and on the poorest of the poor, I guess the biggest concern is the wastage that we see. So to that extent, the steps that are now being taken, that subsidies will be recast a little bit with the JAM number trinity and things like that, and also more to offer social net and universal social security, are those steps that you think are perhaps a paradigm shift?
I think, Vikram, spending, and I can tell you, while the corporate and the investors will be coming in, the government spending is key for growth drivers to take shape. And Finance Minister has spoken about rural roads in particular, housing, talked about ports, airports. I think enough has been spoken about, but it needs to get into concrete mode. On the social sector spending, there is no doubt that we have to do that spending. This country is very diverse. It needs all kind of help. And also the leakages. At the end of the day, if you can plug leakages, the delivery mechanisms which have been brought in through the Jan Dhan Yojana, now Aadhaar card. So if it reaches to the right people, right person, that adds back to the economy, it gives the spending power, then the whole cycle comes into play. So it's a good thing as long as we can manage both.
All right, Rajan, well, thanks a lot for joining us with that perspective.